What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another entertainment video. It's been a couple of weeks since I made a video, and my, oh my, what a difference a few weeks makes in the MLB season, in the Chicago Cubs season. We were up 6 games in the division a couple weeks ago. Now we're down 6 games. The Cubs were unstoppable on offense. Now it feels like we can't hit anything that goes our way. Every break was going our way. Now nothing's going our way. So I'm going to talk about some standings, what's going on in the north side of Chicago. We just dropped 2 out of 3 to the St. Louis Cardinals. So going to get realistic, going to get into that. But we also got to be optimistic. I mean, nothing good is ever going to happen unless you want it to happen. So got to talk about 3 reasons to be optimistic still if you're a Chicago Cubs fan. Then the last thing we got to talk about, just something I've been thinking about, pondering. It really feels like the baseball gods are punishing the Chicago Cubs. Maybe not the fans, maybe the front office, maybe the ownership. Things were kind of going our way in the first half of the season. Every time we would come back, we'd win a game. We'd get the hit when you need to. Now it seems the complete opposite. Dansby Swanson's missing first base. Birdie got called out yesterday on a play at second, which he looks safe. Even on the replay, they still called him out. So we got to get into that, guys. Standings update, 3 reasons to be optimistic if you're a Chicago Cubs fan still. And then lastly, are the baseball gods punishing the Chicago Cubs front office? Not spending enough money, haven't been doing it, didn't get aggressive at the deadline. Maybe that's why things just aren't going our way so far in the second half of the season and this first week and a half in August. But enough of all that. Let's just get right into it, guys. Right now, got to pull up this standings updates. Like I talked about a few weeks ago, things were amazing. We were atop the NL Central. No worries about the wild card. I was thinking bye. I'm thinking, how are we going to set up the rotation? My, oh my, things have changed. Now the Brewers are ahead of us. The Cubs are in the top of the wild card. I mean, had the best record for a while. Now we're at 67-50, so still the 4th best record in the NL. So not going to lie, if it was the beginning of the year, I would have been totally geeked with that. But it does really suck to be behind the Milwaukee Brewers by 6 games. They're on a crazy streak right now, 9-1 in their last 10. Seems like everything's going their way. Seems like everything's going against the Chicago Cubs. But that's just sometimes how it is, and you got to live with it, man. As much as I talk a lot of smack about the Brewers, they're playing really great right now, so nothing I could say. But we still going to get you guys, man. I still believe in this Chicago Cubs team. They did just drop 2 out of 3 to the St. Louis Cardinals, but we're still up. Cubs offense once again getting a little bit shallow. Not a lot happening. We went crazy on Saturday, had 9 runs. I was excited watching the game. Then yesterday, kind of right back to what's been happening. Only scored 2 runs. So you take a look at this tweet right here from MBD Chicago. So after defeating Milwaukee on June 17th, the Cubs led the division by 6.5 games. Since then, the Brewers are 33-9. The Cubs are just 22-22. Since the All-Star break, the Cubs are 10-11. Since the trade deadline, we're 5-5. And now the Milwaukee Brewers lead the division by 6 games. So June 17th, about 2 months ago, today is Monday, August 11th. Look how much things have changed, man. We were up by 6.5 games. Obviously, it was early in the season. But Milwaukee, like I said, they've been on a tear, 33-9 in that span. Cubbies just playing 500 baseball. And which would be pretty good in any other division. We'd probably still be up, but with the Brewers only pretty much 33-9. We're 22-22 in that time. That's how they've managed to make up all this ground. And I think a lot of people were saying, hey, at the trade deadline, Cubbies are going to do something. You saw all the headlines. Cubbies are going to be the most aggressive team. Cubs are going to make all the moves. None of that happened. And now we're just 5-5 since that point. We still got some other things happening. Obviously, Miguel Amaya looks like he's going to be making a return soon, whether that's in Toronto or pinch hitting, playing a full game. We'll see how that goes. But it looks like he's going to be back. Hodges should be back at some point. And, hopefully things like that are going to shape out to be a little bit better. I don't think the entire offense can slump forever. But these numbers right here, it's a little bit scary. I mean, 22-22 is pretty much playing 500 ball over the last almost 2 months now. Obviously, it's really hard to expect a team to just dominate from start to end, but we got to be a little bit better than this. Some of those games, I think we had a little bit more to give, and we kind of folded in some of them where the bullpen didn't pull through, the offense couldn't get a timely hit, and it seems like everybody's just kind of hitting the worst part of their season at once. But it's crazy to see that, 5-5 since the trade deadline. I was expecting us to do a lot more than we did end up doing, and didn't really go our way. I still think we have enough, especially out in the NL. I don't think any team, obviously the Dodgers are absolutely loaded, but I'm not necessarily afraid of the Milwaukee Brewers. They've been doing things that everything goes their way. They had a pitch count that went out the other day. Wilson Contreras' brother got another chance. Contreras got a chance to take a second hit, hits a home run. They end up winning. So it seems like everything's going like that in Milwaukee, and sometimes that's just how it goes. It's the regular season, and we've seen it, and it's happened to us on the north side. We've been the best team all season long. Then you get into the playoffs, and you need stars, you need things to go that way. And right now, Milwaukee, kind of a different type of offense where they don't really hit a lot of home runs. They don't really slug the ball. They just kind of piece together a lot, which I love that type of baseball, but it's hard to win a whole season like that. You need that as a team, but you also need to have easy runs like home runs, like getting those doubles, triples that bring in some of those big runs. And the crazy part about it too, though, is that we've lost the last 2 series. We lost to the Reds 2 out of 3. We just lost to the Cardinals 2 out of 3. But you got to think of these 2 plays. So this is back-to-back series losses pretty much on 2 kind of fluky plays. Against the Reds, Dansby Swanson, he would have been safe, somehow misses first base, ends up being out. Then yesterday in the Cardinals game, you have John Birdie slides into second, gets called out, even though I think he was safe. They said his mitt came off. I don't know how you can say that, but they called him out on the field. So then that whole, can't reverse it if there's not overwhelming evidence, whole thing starts to happen. In the next play, Nico Horner ends up ripping a single into left. So you imagine John Birdie would have scored. We would have tied it up. So back-to-back series, just 2 type of things that in the MLB season, when you're winning, these things go your way. You don't miss the base, you're safe. You don't get called out. They make the replay, you get called safe, boom, you score the next play. There we go. We live to see another day. But when things are kind of going with the way they are right now for the Cubbies, you're slumping. Baseball gods start letting these things start to slip through the cracks. You miss the base. You get called out. They go do a replay. You still get called out. Nico Horner comes up, gets a hit. They get another hit. Then they roll right into a double play. So it's just hard, man. The long baseball season, 162 games. Things are going to go your way. Things are not going to go your way. And it's just all about battling back. I mean, for how bad things seem to be to everybody, to all the fans around, we're still playing 500 baseball. We're 22-22 since that June 17th date. And quite frankly, we're up in the NL wild card. That's all you need. You need to just get into the dance, guys. So enough about being negative. Let's talk about reasons to be optimistic. Whether you're into whatever you do on a daily basis, if you're into manifestation, if you're into Jesus, into whatever you're into, Buddha, whoever, you got to be positive. You got to be a good person. That karma is going to come back to you. So let's talk about 3 reasons that you got to be optimistic if you're a Chicago Cubs fan. Number 1, we currently lead the wild card by 4.5 games. So we're in the playoffs right now. Nice little cushy lead. So realistically, if we fumble that bag right there, we don't deserve to make it. Second reason to be optimistic, based on our strength of schedule, based on the teams behind us that are chasing us, FanGraph gives the Cubs a 97.1% chance right now to make the playoffs. So 97% chance we should be in. And from the beginning of the year, obviously you want a division. I like to hang up those flags at Wrigley Field, but all we got to do is get into the dance, guys. That's all we really need to do. And the third reason to be optimistic, the Cubs have scored 599 runs this season, which still ranks 2nd in the MLB. So even though the offense has been sputtering of late, it's hard to imagine that offense is not going to heat up, that PCA is not going to bounce back, that Kyle Tucker, of all people, is not going to bounce back, that Seiya Suzuki maybe not going to play at that all-star level, even though he didn't make it all-star snub level he did in the first half of the season. But there's a lot of room for improvement, and same thing for Michael Busch, because Nico's heating up. Matt Shaw's been hitting pretty lights out. Dansby Swanson's been hitting a lot better. So I'm still pretty excited for the Cubbies, guys. So let me break that down real quick. 3 reasons to be optimistic still if you're a Chicago Cubs fan. So that sounded, I was like, still, that. Sometimes you want to read it all cool. You fumble the back. Sometimes when when you got the motion, when you're going crazy is when you do it better. When I try to enunciate like that, weak. So let's just get right back. We're the reasons why. Forget that even happened, guys. All right. And we back. So 3 reasons to be optimistic if you're a Chicago Cubs fan. Number one, we currently lead the NL wild card by 4.5 games. So if the season ended today, we're still in the playoffs, baby. Number two, based on our strength of schedule, based on the teams behind us, FanGraph currently gives the Cubs a 97.1% chance to make the playoffs. So things are still looking bright on the north side. And the third reason to be optimistic, the Cubs have scored 599 runs this season, which is second in the MLB. So even though the offense is sputtering, we're going to heat up. PCA, Kyle Tucker, Seiya Suzuki, they're going to come alive, whether it's all three, 2 or 3, some of them. Cubbies offense is going to be okay, guys. So don't worry. Things happen. It's an MLB, 162 game season, guys. Can't expect us to win them all. And even though we're sputtering, that's how you got to sneak in sometimes to the playoffs. Teams underestimate you. Those teams that have been knocking breaks off people all season, everybody's ready. Everybody's locked in. And that's when you pounce on them. And I'm talking about you, Milwaukee. We'll take that little hour-and-a-half ride up north to that weak American field, whatever you guys call it. The little baby dome looks like a little minor league, Little League World Series type of stadium. But whatever you want to call it up there, we'll be ready for you guys because you got to think about it, man. Realistically, very hard in any sport, especially in the MLB, because it is a 162-game regular season to just dominate from start to end, win a World Series. 2016, we were blessed. We were lucky. The Cubbies were pretty much the best team the entire year. They went out and then got Aroldis Chapman. That kind of sealed the deal for the playoffs. We end up winning the World Series, even though we did go 7. But that's one of those rare seasons where the team that was the best from the beginning to the end of the regular season is the best team again from the beginning to the end of the postseason. So got to be realistic. We'll see what happens. And at the end of the day, you got Shota Imanaga, Matthew Boyd, Cade Horton as your top 3 in your rotation in the playoffs. I really like that matchup against pretty much anybody. 2 lefties, a righty, then you get really precise in the bullpen. So I'm excited for the Cubbies and see what else they're going to finish the season now. And kind of there talking about Cade Horton, man. A lot of people thought that we should have included him in trades. I know I've talked about some of the trades and things like that you should do. But Cade Horton, who a lot of these teams wanted, has kind of been exactly what the Cubs need. I mean, take a look at some of these stats. This is going off of last week on his last start, August 7th. So Cade Horton, over his last 27.1 innings pitched, he has a 1.32 ERA. Batting average against him, 174, a whip of 0.91, and a 25.9% whiff rate. So over his last 22 innings, Horton's allowed 0 earned runs, 10 hits, and kept opponents to a 135 batting average. So this dude has been absolutely balling, man. 0 earned runs over his last 22 innings, only 10 hits, 1.32 ERA. I mean, these stats speak for themselves. I know a lot of people are like, hey, do whatever it takes to get a starting pitcher. Cade Horton right here had his injuries last year. Yes, he's probably on somewhat of a pitcher inning count this year. But going into the playoffs, you got to imagine that probably goes away just a little bit. So I'm excited to see what he has. I really like him. Reminds me a little bit of like an old school pitcher, not necessarily trying to just always blow it right by you, strike you out. But he knows how to hit his spots, knows how to really pitch and kind of control that game. So I'm a big Cade Horton fan. I'm sure a lot of my fellow Cubbies, fellow Northside fans got to say the same thing. And I'm excited to see what he could do the rest of this season, postseason, and kind of the rest of his career, man. He's kind of that right-handed arm we need alongside Matthew Boyd, Shota Imanaga, and even Justin Steele when he's able to come back next season. So lots to look forward to right there for Cade Horton. Joined the rotation in May. He's had a 4.80 ERA in his first 2 months, and he's allowed no runs in 5 of his last 6 starts, including his past 4 in a row with no runs. On top of all of this, guys, you know he's in the National League Rookie of the Year running, and he'd get my vote if I had one, and the vote in my spirit. We got you, Cade. Let's go. All right, guys. All right. Ladies, guys, whatever you want to be. This is a free channel. As long as you're a Cubbies fan, you cool with me. So last thing I'm going to talk about, and this comes from a little bit of the spiritual side. Ooh. A little bit out there in the world, you start to think, what's going on north side of Chicago? Are the baseball gods not on our side? Are they not looking after us? And I've been thinking about that, guys. I don't think the baseball gods would per se punish the Chicago Cubs fans. I mean, we're loyal. We stuck around for 108 years when we couldn't win. We were at Wrigley Field when it was bust down and broken. Now they fixed it up and it's expensive and we're still going. But it feels to me right now like the baseball gods are just kind of punishing the front office, punishing, I don't know, the ownership. Because, you know, right now it seems like, hey, the beginning of the year, like, yo, they made all the right moves. They went out, they got Kyle Tucker. Things worked out with PCA. He's looking like a stud. Shota Imanaga coming into form really is kind of the leader of the rotation without Justin Steele in his third season. Cade Horton having a great rookie of the year season after being injured a lot last year. Michael Bush having resurgence after coming over from the Dodgers. All types of things kind of going the Cubbies' way. At the trade deadline, everyone's saying they're going to make moves. So you're assuming that means the front office is telling people, yo, we're making moves. We're going to be assuring the roster, picking somebody up. We're going to get a front-end starter, a really great back bullpen guy. Then kind of none of that really materialized. So it kind of seems like they were blowing smoke up our ass. And then now it seems like nothing's going our way. Every time a ball bounces, it used to go right into the glove of the Cubs. Now it bounces away. Every hit that was finding some grass is now finding somebody's glove. Every pitch that was just going by a bat is now making perfect contact and getting sent out on the Cubs. So it kind of seems to me like the baseball gods are just like, you know what? Ownership, front office, you guys want to pretend like you're going to do something. You want to gaslight everybody. You guys want to tell the media you're going to make all these moves. You're not going to do anything. This is what happens when you don't do anything. When you don't give towards the MLB, you don't give towards the team, you're not going to get anything back. 2016, they went out and made those moves. They got Aroldis Chapman. They brought him in. They pretty much did everything they needed to do to win. They brought in Ben Zobrist. They brought in John Lester. They're like, went all out to just really win that ring. End up getting the ring, end up selling out. We haven't been anything since. This year, it seemed like things were going our way. They made the right moves. And then once they had the chance to really show they were all in, push all their chips in the middle, ownership, front office, they didn't do it. And now it seems like the baseball gods have just completely flipped on the Cubbies since then. Front office, management, you don't want to put something on the team, we're not going to reward you. So we're probably still going to make the playoffs. I still have a lot of faith in the team. But right now it's hard, man, because you know when you win, when you've seen a team win a World Series, when you watch baseball all the time, you know things got to go the way for the team that's going to win. So right now when it's not going our way, I'm like, it makes me a little bit nervous. There's still plenty of time to heat up. I'm not worried about that part. And realistically, man, I talked about it a little bit earlier. You're not going to go 162-0. You're not going to win every game. So right now it's kind of that bumpy road of the season. All we got to do is heat up, get right at the right time, go into the playoffs with the team that we have those starters, have the team peaking at the right time. That's really all you need. I mean, it's only August 11th. There's a lot of time till we get to the postseason. We just got to get in, and we got to be playing better than we are right now. But as long as we get into that dance with this high-powered offense, with Shota Imanaga, with Matthew Boyd, with Cade Horton, I really do think we have a chance, guys. So let me know what you guys think. I'm still really optimistic about the Cubbies. I think there's a lot to look forward to, a lot to be positive about on the north side of Chicago. And Cubbies, they are off today, but they kick off a series against the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto, in Canada. Oh, Canada. Goofy ass America, baby. USA, let's go. We're going to Toronto. Miguel Amaya should be coming back. That should be another spark a little bit to the offense. Carson Kelly, him can split some time. That should allow both of them to hit a little bit better. Probably let us get rid of somebody, drop somebody out. And I really want to see them bring somebody up from AAA, whether it's Casey, whether it's Bolsoleros, somebody. Bring them up. We need something. We need a spark. We need something up here. But let's go, Cubbies. Tomorrow, 6:07 Central Time. We'll see how it goes, guys, because we're going up to Toronto to the 6. Will Drake be there? I don't think so. Toronto, we got to come for you guys. I'm sorry. But we're doing it. America versus Canada. The Cubs versus the Blue Jays. 2 blue teams. We gone, though. Go Cubbies. Let me know what you guys think about what's going on in the north side. It helps grow the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. Do the damn thing. The ant farm is growing. And you always got to remember when you're on the entertainment channel, you always got to go crazy. Don't be lazy. And don't be doing nothing fugazi. Deuces.